Good evening, viewers, and welcome to the Week in Review that brings you major stories that occurred in the Nigerian economy, business environment, and financial markets. Let's begin with the story that during the week, President Muhammadu Buhari approved extension of the second phase of the eased lockdown by another 4 weeks, with effect from Tuesday, June 30, 2020 to midnight of July 27, 2020. The federal government also gave permission for interstate movement outside of the curfew hours with effect from July 1, 2020. This was disclosed by the chairman of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, who also doubles as the secretary to the government of the Federation, Mr. Boss Mustafa, during the daily briefing of the task force. The announcement was made following the end of Phase 2 of the gradual easing of the lockdown on Monday, June 29, 2020. The federal government during the briefing also announced the safe resumption of domestic air travel as soon as practicable. They also announced the safe reopening of schools with only students in graduating classes, that is Primary 6, Junior Secondary School SS3, and Senior Secondary School SS3 will be allowed to return to school to enable them to prepare for the exams. The PTF, however, noted that the daycare schools, primary schools, secondary schools, and tertiary institutions are to remain closed. In his own remark, National Coordinator of the PTF of COVID-19, Dr. Sani Aliyu, added that buses are only allowed to travel at 50% capacity with the passengers during interstate movement, and it is compulsory that they make use of face masks. In the business environment, the Corporate Affairs Commission informed its esteemed customers that as part of the Ease of Doing Business initiative, the certificates of incorporation of companies registered under Part A of the CAMA laws will now henceforth bear the tax identification numbers issued by the Federal Inland Revenue Service to such companies. This will be dispensed with the need for companies to apply for the issuance of tax identification numbers from the FIRS after incorporation. This week had a very significant event, and it was the commissioning of a major billion-dollar gas pipeline project. Inaugurated by President Muhammadu Buhari, the 2.6 billion naira gas pipeline project that will further enhance the country's energy security is come on board and is being commended. In a virtual meeting, President Muhammadu Buhari said the project will provide gas and also facilitate the revival of moribund industries in West African nation. According to him, today marks an important chapter in the history of our great nation. It marks the day when our domestic natural gas pipeline networks from Obiafu in Rivers State, Escravos in Delta State, and Lekki in Lagos State are being connected through Kaduna to Kano State, thereby further enhancing national energy security. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation quoted President Buhari as saying, "The Nigerian head of state said the project will create direct and indirect employment while fostering the development, technology transfer, and promotion of local manufacturing. We promise the nation that we will expand the critical gas infrastructure in the country to promote the use of gas in the domestic market. This includes the Escravos to Lagos Pipeline System 2, Obiafu Obricom to Oben Pipeline, and the AKK. I therefore directed NNPC to ensure that these critical projects are completed on time within budget and specification," he added. The Ajakuta-Kaduna-Kano pipeline, AKK, is a 614-kilometer, 281.5 miles pipeline developed by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation to transport natural gas from southern Nigeria to central Nigeria. During the week, the Petroleum Pump Price Regulatory Agency announced a new price regime for the petroleum motor spirit, PMS, in a statement that was published in the week. According to that statement, it said, "Please recall the provision for the establishment of a monthly price band within which petroleum marketers are expected to sell PMS at the retail stations based on the existing price regime. After a review of the prevailing market fundamentals in the month of June and considering marketers' realistic operating costs as much as practicable, we wish to advise a new PMS pump price band of 140 naira 80 kobo to 143 naira 80 kobo per litre for the month of July 2020. PPRA said that the ex-depot for collection includes the statutory energy charges of bridging fund, marine transport average, national transport allowance, and administrative charge. It called on all marketers to operate within the indicative prices as advised by the PPRA. In a related development, the Nigerian Labour Congress rejected the hike in the pump price of the PMS and called on the PPRA to reverse the price immediately. In the aviation space, after 3 months of closure due to adverse effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, activities in the sector will begin to pick up as the Honorable Minister during the week, Aviation Captain Hedi Serika announced that a resumption of domestic flight operations will begin from next week. Quoting him from his Twitter handle, he said, "I'm glad to announce that Abuja and Lagos airports will resume domestic operations on the 8th of July 2020. Kano, Port Harcourt, Owerri, and Maiduguri will resume on the 11th. Other airports on the 15th. Speaking for the international airports, he said the dates for international flights commencement will come in due course. With this information, domestic flights across the country will commence, which means resumption of activities for an industry that has been severely hit by the pandemic. During the week, we received the first quarter of 2020 Telecoms data report published by National Bureau of Statistics. It said that a total of 189,282,796 subscribers were active on voice, as against 184,699,409 in fourth quarter of 2019 and 173,713,842 in the first quarter of 2019. This represented 2.48% increase in voice subscriptions quarter-on-quarter and 8.96% year-on-year. Similarly, a total of 136,203,231 subscribers were active on internet, as against 126,078,999 in fourth quarter of 2019 and 116,310,154 in the first quarter of 2019. This represented 8.03% growth in internet subscriptions quarter-on-quarter and 17.10% year-on-year. From the report, Lagos State had the highest number of subscribers in terms of active voice per state in the first quarter and was closely followed by Ogun and Kano states, respectively, while Bayelsa and Ekiti states had the least number of subscribers. Similarly, Lagos State had the highest number of subscribers in terms of active internet per state in first quarter 2020 and closely followed by Kano and Ogun states, respectively, while Bayelsa and Ebonyi states had the least number of subscribers. MTN has the highest share of voice subscription, and this is closely followed by Airtel, Glo, EMTS, and others respectively. Similarly, MTN has the highest share of internet subscription and is followed by Glo, Airtel, EMTS, and others. During the week, President Muhammadu Buhari swore in members of the Federal Character Commission, Federal Civil Service Commission, and the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation, and Fiscal Commission. The ceremony at the State House in Abuja was graced by Vice President Professor Yemi Osibanjo and Secretary to the Federal Government, Mr. Boss Mustafa, Chief of Staff to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, and Kwara State Governor, Mr. Abdulrazak Abdurrahman. Speaking at the event, the SGF said the federal government expected the appointees to live up to their constitutional responsibilities, charging them to work hard to ensure the revenue opportunities of the non-oil sector and mobilize revenues for the entire country. He also spoke on expectations from the FCC and FCSC, saying that members are expected to perform their responsibilities creditably in accordance with the provision of the Constitution. Mustafa said basically they have constitutional responsibilities because all these commissioners are mentioned in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and so that presupposes that already the Constitution has provided for them a mandate, more especially as we are notching towards the end of the president's tenure. We have just spent a year and we have 3 years to go, but there are so many things that we want them to begin to do in terms of re-energizing the federal system. The Federal Character Commission particularly has the responsibilities in the Constitution, which is very fundamental to ensure equitable distribution of not only offices, but even of amenities and benefits and welfare to the people of the country. And that'll be all for this edition of the Week in Review. You can join our website, www.proshng.com, to watch our videos, read our news reports and analysis. You can also follow our social media platforms displaying on the screen. Till we come your way again, thank you for watching. Have a nice day, stay safe, and Happy New Week in advance.